Alright guys, so you just seen me prepare the Jolly Ranchers. Now I want you to see the prepared grapes. What I've done is I washed the grapes and then put them on the skewers. Pretty simple. So let's go ahead and get into this. I have the sugar already in here. As always, if you want to get the full ingredient list and recipe, click the link that's in the description. It's going to take you over to goodeats420.com where I give you the complete list and the recipe and everything, okay? So let's go ahead and get this going. We got the sugar in there already. All right, let's go ahead and turn this on low. And by low, I mean that I put it on number 2. It's on the 1 to 10 dial. I put it on number 2. All right, we got our sugar right there. Let's go ahead and add in our water. Add in our water right there. And this time we're actually going to use some corn syrup. Here's the light corn syrup right here. All right, so I had that on low like I told you on number 2. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and let that sugar start dissolving. So I'm going to let this cook here for a couple minutes, and we're going to let that sugar and the corn syrup and everything dissolve. So let's go ahead and let that happen, and then I'll show you how it's supposed to look in just a second. All right guys, and so while that sugar is cooking and everything, I want to show you this right here. This is a dram of cotton candy flavor. We're not using the honey like we did with the candy strawberries. We're not using the honey for flavor. So whenever I put the tincture here in a minute, I'm also going to be putting in cotton candy flavoring as well to give this some flavor as well. This right here is optional. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but if you want to give it some more flavor, I would suggest it. All right guys, so we're starting to get some action inside of our pot right here. It's starting to dissolve and starting to bubble up now, which is great. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our candy thermometer in here, and we're going to let this rise up until 300. If you look right here on the thermometer, you can see right here where 300 it says hard crack. 150 degrees Celsius, 300 degrees Fahrenheit, it says hard crack. And so what we're going to do is we want it to get to that temperature there before we put in our flavoring, and we're going to put in our tincture as well. Now real quickly here, whenever it gets to 280, we're going to put in our food coloring. Now normally I would put the white in first and then put in the blue, but because I don't have any white food coloring, it's just going to be the blue. But normally when you do this, you want to put the white first, so that way it brightens up the color. That's your base, and then you put your color on top of that. So let's go ahead and put the thermometer in. When it gets to 280, we're going to add our coloring. When it gets to 300, we're going to add in our tincture and our flavoring, and then we're going to dip our grapes and also dip them in the Jolly Ranchers. All right. All right guys, so it's time to put in the food coloring. Like I said, normally you would put the white in first so that you make it more brighter, but I don't have any white. So we're just going to go ahead and put the blue in. All right guys, so we're at the right temperature now. We're going to go ahead and add in our tincture, and this is also the flavoring, the cotton candy flavor that we talked about. That's also this too. So let's go ahead and add this in. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this off the heat, and we're going to start dipping our grapes, and then we're going to dip it into the Jolly Rancher mixture. Let's do it. All right, so you take one of the grapes and you just dip it in like so. All right, get as much as you can off of there, and then we're going to take it in the Jolly Rancher mix and put it in there. And I actually have a spoon in here, so that way I can spoon it on top of there. And that's how we're going to do it.